if you're a busy professional, founder, entrepreneur who wants to get fit and basically make the most of the gym, this video is for you, okay? Training 6 days a week isn't going to be the way for you, okay? For myself, for example, this is sort of my business. I do love training. I do have the time to train. I make the time to train. So I will go to the gym 5, maybe 6 days a week sometimes. But that's because that suits me. It's because I love it. I have a passion for it. It's not the same for everyone else, okay? If you just want to get in there, you want to get the best results possible, then listen up. So, why everyone thinks more is better, okay? So, obviously in your head you think the more you train, the better results you're going to get. Now, I wish it was as simple as that, because then I'd be fucking massive. But it's not that simple, okay? When you're trying to grow muscle, when you're trying to keep fit, it's not just about how often you're training. It's about the quality of your recovery. If you can't recover properly and you're in the gym 6 days a week, so you go from 0 days a week to 6, your body's not going to hack that. You're going to get tired, you're going to feel it at work, and you're just going to be smashed up for the whole week. And then that leads to the end of the cycle of you starting the gym and then stopping, because you want to go 100%, you want to go 6 days a week, but because you're having those breaks in between those 6-day training session weeks, then your body's losing the adaptation, and then it's gaining it. Then you're just in an endless cycle. So the best way, even if you did want to do 6 days a week, you need to start with a lower frequency. But that's a whole different video. So yeah, reason people think 6 is better is because you think more training equals more muscles. That's not inherently the case. And why that won't work for you in particular, if you're working an 8-hour shift, or if you're a CEO or a founder, entrepreneur, and you're working 12-hour days, you need the rest of your time around those days to be as efficient as possible, okay? So spending 2 hours in the gym isn't really an option for you. So this is where the 3-day split comes in. 3 days a week, you cut that time in half. So you go from potentially 12 hours down to 6, okay? I'm not saying you're going to have to spend 2 hours in the gym. I'm just using it as a maximum, okay? Minimum, really, this is looking like an hour and a half a week if you do this correctly. So that's then giving you way more time back. That's giving you 9 hours plus, 10 hours plus time back that you would be spending in the gym, 2 hours, 6 days a week. Instead, you'd be spending 3 days in the gym, half an hour each. You get so much time back, and as well as that, you're maximizing your gains, you're maximizing your results, okay? So you're not going in the gym, going on this machine, going on that machine, and playing guess the machine, and basically just, oh, I feel like doing this, I feel like doing that. If you have this set out and you follow this program to a T, you will see results. I can promise you that. So how to actually get results training less? That's going to involve a few things. Of course, that's going to involve you being consistent, okay? You're in the gym 3 days a week, you stick to these sessions, and you constantly try and progressive overload your sessions, okay? Now, what is progressive overload? Progressive overload is when, say for example, I'm lifting 20 kilos on chest press. So boom, I'm there, like that, okay? 20 kilos, I get to my max out on the rep range. Okay, I'm just going to say 10 for the sake of this video. Once I hit 10, next time I do it, either if that's in the same session or that's the next session, I'm going to bump the weight up. So I might go up to 22 kilos. Then when I hit 22 kilos with 10 reps, I'm going to up it to 24, 26, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. That is progressive overload. It's super simple. There's obviously other ways to do that, but that is the most simple way to progressive overload. That's how you're going to get results, okay? In terms of the muscle building in the gym, doing that work. Of course, you've then got diet, you've then got rest and recovery, but we are purely just talking about a training split in this video, okay? So on to the next thing. So what a 3-day split would actually look like. So I've got 2 examples here. One of which I favor a lot more than the other, but I will walk you through both, okay? So, you have upper, lower, upper, okay? You could also do the inverse of this, lower, upper, lower. But, of course, everyone wants a sexy upper body. No one really cares about their legs. It's important, which is why it's in here. You could obviously do 3 upper sessions, but then you're going to be walking around with legs like that, which you do not want, because that's not going to serve anyone. You're going to look unproportionate, and yeah, just not going to look good. Not a good look. And for this split, obviously for the upper sessions, you'll be getting a chest exercise, a back exercise, shoulder exercise, biceps, triceps. Do that, upper, upper, and then on the lower, you need to do a heavy compound such as a squat. You could do another quad exercise, maybe a leg extension, a hamstring exercise, and a calf exercise. If you wanted to add another exercise, you could add another hamstring exercise to even things out. Okay? And then with the upper session, repeat. On to the next one. So, that says full body, full body, full body. Now, full body, full body, full body. Right, so, with full body, okay, you might not be able to get the arms involved. Why is that not such a big deal? On your chest workouts, say if I'm doing a bench press, I'm here, okay? I'm not only engaging my chest, my triceps are getting engaged, my shoulders are getting engaged, okay? If your goal is just to have an aesthetic physique and you're not specifically looking for big arms, this is not an issue. Same with the back exercise. If I'm doing a row, my biceps are getting involved as well as my back. Okay, so it does come down to preference in terms of what you're working towards, but overall, if you are just looking for an aesthetic physique, it's good. So you've got your chest exercise. That can even be an incline dumbbell press, incline Smith. There's so many different exercises you can use. Okay, a back exercise, preferably a row if you are lagging a bit on your lats. So under here, maybe a lat pull down, pull-ups, something along those lines. The second half of that workout will be legs. So you could be doing a squat and then a hamstring exercise. Or you could flip it the other way around, do an RDL and then a quad exercise. So for example, you could do your squat and then you could do a leg curl to your hamstrings. If you do it the other way around for an RDL, you do your RDL and then you do a leg extension. Okay, this is something you could play around with. I do have a document that has a full body workout on there that is going to hit all of your muscles, all over your body. So if you want that, click the link in the description of this video. It will take you to that document that you can use for free. Okay. 12 months of consistency blows 6 weeks of intensity out the water, right? It's very easy to smash out 6 weeks because you've got the motivation and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to fucking smash this. Summer's coming up and I want to look good. You're not going to get your dream body in 6 weeks. I'm sorry to tell you that. If it was that easy, then, you know, I wouldn't even be making this video. It is a consistent process. It is a difficult process. Okay. However, if you are consistent for 12 months, you go to the gym 3 times a week, half an hour each session. That's an hour and a half. Okay. I'm just going to do the maths on my phone quickly for you guys. That is 78 hours a year. That's just over 3 days worth of you training. 3 days out of 365 of you training. It's not even 1% of your year. I don't think that's a big ask. So if you really and truly want a good physique, you're going to spend less than 1% of your year training. I don't think that's a big ask to have a good physique. That's all I'm saying. And anyway, going back to it, if you want the free workout plan, that's in the description. As well as that, I have a Telegram channel where I give out free advice every week. I host fitness challenges there. And if you have any questions for me, my Telegram's in the chat. You can send me a DM and I can answer those questions in the chat or privately one-to-one. Okay? So that's all, guys. Have a good day.